Everyone, good morning, good day, good afternoon, or good night from whenever or wherever you are watching this video. I'm Thomas Rad, broker and founder of Bravus Coffee Trading. Once again, here with the little water cooler coffee chat to talk to you guys about what's going on in coffee this week. Also, a preview of what is to come to our coffee newsletter that we will send out during the weekend. It's Thursday, September 1st, actually, 1st of September. Beautiful to know. Getting into more warmer weather in Brazil, the ending of winter. I'm not a fan of the cold, and neither is coffee, as we all know, but let's get right into it. I have a couple things to talk about interesting today. KC, right? KC, which is our famous and beloved coffee. I mean, today we're starting out a little bit negative, right? We're starting out the market a little lower, about 0.5% after, we saw this rise over last week. This week has not performed the same. People were very bullish after seeing this happen, after seeing, consolidated stocks, consolidated harvest numbers. We have some, actually, there are some interesting not facts, but interesting articles posted, right? Interesting articles posted from cooperatives and trading companies in Brazil about the actual coffee harvest this year and how much they received inside their warehouses, which were, if I'm not mistaken, there was one that I'd like to show, but I can't find the document. I received it. That they received 16% coffee in their warehouse versus the 2021 crop, and 50% less coffee in their warehouse versus the 2020 crop. That's an interesting number. I don't have the exact number from the cooperative. This is a number that they posted in Portuguese. So that's something very interesting to think about, and other cooperatives and trading companies are also the same. Let's see if we can get other numbers or more detailed numbers as the harvest finishes and the commercialization period continues to grow. Now, little other things that we want to talk about today is that the dollar, the Brazilian real, is at 5.19, the forex, the exchange, right? At that last week, it was 5.08. It even went down to 5.03, and just you see how volatile Brazil is. Over the last week, over the last 7 days, you go from 5.03 to 5.20 or 5.22. Actually, we hit 5.22, and I think we went back down to like 5.19. But how volatile Brazil is, and how much this affects also pricing and differentials, right? At the origin, or the premium, as some people like to call it. At the same time, some exporters, or most exporters, I guess, the strategies would be that they were sticking to their ground because coffee is very volatile. And as long as they stick to their ground, producers are also going to be sticking to their ground because they want to be selling coffee at those levels at 1,400, 1,500 plus, whereas exporters are sticking to their ground to pay less than 1,300 or 1,200 or even 1,100. They're trying to force it to go down because there's no margin. Demands are not being attended to, and companies are still looking for other alternatives. Now, in the long term, we don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, the short term, we don't know how this is going to play out because we have the crop for next year. It's still expected to be a good crop. We're still expecting rains to complement the flowering that's been going on. There's some premature flowering that we showed, on our social media, and I'm sure that you guys have seen a couple. But we will see over the course of the next month, and getting into the next month, which is September, we already have estimates that we're not going to have rain over the next 10 days in the coffee belt. So that's something interesting to follow up with also. And another piece of information that I found, I wish I could. I gotta learn how to save these fonts better to share with you guys. But the amount of Rio Minas and Riado coffees in Brazil will be actually in higher volume this year because of the unequal maturation processes that's been going on. You know, the cold fronts that came and then went, and then the scarce rains that came and went also in the coffee belt. So there has been some inequality in coffee processing and coffee harvesting. So that would probably allow the Rio Minas to really try to, I wouldn't say balance. I'm not going to say balance, but the price of Rio Minas will be adjusted because of the higher volume and the lower output for exports, which goes mainly to Europe and the Middle East. Um, Getting to something that's actually pretty devastating is that the Suez Canal was briefly blocked again. This was last night. You know, the first thing I thought was I was going to incorporate this into the video this morning, but it has already been unstuck or unblocked or ungrounded after a series of attempts of a bevy of tugs working the grounding. This was posted by John Scott Railton, which I gotta follow, by the way, um, and explaining that there was a tanker that got stuck, but it was only for a couple hours. It shows where the Affinity 5, the tanker ship, was grounded, and where Ever Given got stuck last year. God forbid we have another Ever Given situation on our hands. We do not need that. So this was where the vessel traffic halted. It was started. It's pretty. It's pretty. How do you say? It's kind of. It's this. It's weird, to see this happening. And actually, I kind of lost the word, to be very straightforward. But anyway, this is the situation with the Suez Canal and the Affinity 5. Let's get into our stock reports from our friends at the Coffee Trading Academy. You know how we're going to show you guys here. Let's discuss about what's been going on over the last couple days. And as you guys been following and us following closely, these stocks of Arabicas are continuing to rise. But I'm going to get down to the bottom, and I'm going to show you a little bit more details of these stock reports, right? So we got 90,000 bags still pending, 20,000 passed, 4,000 failed, and an extra 8,000 decertified. So we're at 671,000 bags. Nothing to be surprised about, because it's not like from 600 to 1 million. It is slowly rising, but I guess it's going to fill the hole up until next year's coffee crop. Now I want to get the little oh, look at this, actually, the seasonal chart data. I showed you this last week, and you saw that it had to be readjusted to show how much of a difference it is, 2022 is in terms of the other years and versus the average, the 5-year average, right? Now let's get into the stock reports by port. Okay, so we got this by port. Now, we got about, in total, 300K Brazilian bags, 670 of this 670K. So it's not all Brazilian coffee. Where do we have the most amount of coffee? It's the Honduras origin coffees. So we got about 294, which is more in the Antwerp port versus the Brazilian coffees. And where else do we have here? Other than that, we have Peru, we have Mexico coffee also, mainly at the Antwerp port. But you can see the division here. We have a little bit less than 50% of Brazilian coffees in total around the world, and we have mainly Honduras origin coffees. Until when? Not sure. But this year is a change since coffee from last year, and you could see that it is much less. And Honduras used to be less than Brazilians, which is now more than Brazilian coffees inside the ports of the world. Now, something interesting. The last thing I want to talk about, actually, one of the last things I want to talk about to end this water cooler coffee chat for today, is that the upcoming elections decide the fate of Port of Santos' new mega terminal. This is a report that I saw over the last couple of days that I really thought it was interesting. That the government momentarily gave up on putting up for a bid the new mega terminal at the Port of Santos, which promises to expand its container output by up to 40%, which is a lot. Santos is already the biggest port in Latin America and the biggest port for exports in Brazil, coffee, and other products too. Now, it says here, depending on the outcome of presidential elections, a new terminal, also known as STS 10, will only be put up for bid after the privatization of the Santos Port Authority. A process whose preliminary documents the Federal Court of Accounts should review with further scrutiny this week. So that means is that it's going to take longer, and the unstable political landscape in Brazil, or the really unstable political landscape in Brazil, shows that they don't want to make the wrong move, because it depends who wins, which way of the lobby is going to be in. If we're going to the more left-wing Lula, you're going to see that he's not very interested in privatizing anything, to be honest. He's interested in having the heavy state controlling most, if not all, of these companies, state companies. And whereas the right, Jair Bolsonaro, is in favor of privatizing as much as possible, giving incentives to the private sector and letting them do their thing. So let's see where this will end. I just wanted to talk about that. And, hopefully you guys, whoever watched this, enjoyed it. Enjoyed this water cooler coffee chat. Just a little conversation to tell you guys what's going on for this week. And if you have any inquiries, if you have any, pieces of information that you guys are looking for, if you guys are looking for quotes, sourcing, resolutions, consulting, anything out of Brazil for soft commodities, especially in coffee, you guys can reach out to us at Bravus Coffee Trading, and we would love, and we would be very honored to serve you guys here in Brazil. So thank you until now, and we will see you again in our newsletter, and we will see you again next week. Take care and stay classy.